Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are diving right into a seriously fascinating narrative from our source material. This isn't just a simple story, it's basically a structural blueprint for how we process failure and success. It completely reframes the true art of never giving up, translating a narrative into totally actionable insights for anyone who has ever felt stuck, exhausted, or just completely defeated. Let's get into it.
But before we get to our main subject, I want you to consider something. Really think about this. What is stopping you right now? In your own life, what is that invisible barrier holding you back from your absolute biggest goals? Keep that exact question right at the front of your mind as we go through this explainer, because the material we're analyzing today provides a very direct answer to breaking through that exact barrier.
To understand how to actually break through, the source text introduces us to Jack. Now, Jack was an intensely ordinary person, but he had truly extraordinary dreams. He wanted to achieve something monumental in life, something that would really last. But, as the text points out, there was a massive hurdle. He started at absolute zero. I mean zilch. No money, no support system, and honestly, not a single person around him who truly believed in what he was trying to do.
The text highlights a really stark psychological contrast at this early stage in his journey. On one hand, Jack faced the mocking voice of society. People openly laughed at his dreams. They literally told him he couldn't do it, and that success just wasn't for people like him. You know, it's exactly the kind of noise that slowly chips away at your resolve. But deep down inside, he cultivated this incredibly resilient inner voice pushing back. A quiet, burning fire, constantly reminding him to just keep going, telling him he was meant for more. Ultimately, he had to make a definitive choice about which voice he was going to listen to.
Well, Jack chose to totally tune out the noise, and he implemented a relentless new routine. He basically weaponized his time. Instead of dwelling on all that negativity, he started waking up way before everyone else. He actively absorbed new skills through constant reading just to close his knowledge gaps, and he simply outworked his own previous limits. He put his head down and fully committed to a holistic strategy of self-improvement. But here's the thing. Success wasn't instant. He failed. And I don't mean just once or twice. He failed 10 times. Just pause and imagine the crushing weight of that reality for a second. Pouring your absolute heart and soul into this grueling daily routine, only to hit a brick wall of failure 10 separate times.
Which brings us to the absolute lowest point of his journey. Exhaustion really set in, and the source notes a moment of profound doubt where he genuinely, deeply questioned himself and his abilities. He actually thought to himself, maybe they were right, maybe I'm just not good enough. It is a devastating place to be. And honestly, it's the specific friction point where almost everyone else naturally throws in the towel.
So, how did he survive that dark place? Well, every single time he wanted to give up, he forced himself to answer one critical question. Why did he start? Why did he dare to dream so big in the very first place? Reconnecting with that original spark, his foundational why, became the vital catalyst that gave him the sheer strength to take just one more step forward. And once he reconnected with his why, the entire momentum shifted. We see this amazing compounding effect in the text. His continuous daily efforts began to morph into his first tangible wins. That early traction, it bred the confidence to keep going over the following months. And suddenly, the very people who used to laugh at him started noticing. Until finally, years later, he achieved the massive success he had dreamed of, becoming highly respected and literally an inspiration to millions.
But wait, here's the really fascinating structural plot twist of our source material. Jack was not special. The text makes this explicitly, undeniably clear. He had no superpowers, he certainly did not have a perfect life, and there was absolutely no innate magic aiding him along the way. He was just as ordinary at the end of his journey as he was at the very beginning.
So if he wasn't special, what was his actual advantage? The text points to one singular trait: determination. It's defined here as the unwavering firmness of purpose that makes all the difference in achieving success. That was Jack's true advantage over everyone else. It wasn't some crazy genius, and it wasn't a bunch of startup capital. It was just a stubborn, relentless refusal to stop trying.
Which brings the focus right back to the barriers we discussed at the very start of this explainer. The material challenges us to categorize our own obstacles. Is it fear? A fear of failing 10 times like Jack did? Is it society and the fact that you are listening to people laughing at your dreams? Or is it your own internal mindset? Are you the one secretly telling yourself that you aren't good enough? You need to actively identify what is standing in your way.
Because to break through those barriers, we have to completely realign our understanding of how success actually works. We often expect that we need innate talent, crazy luck, or I don't know, superpowers to win, but the reality outlined here is far less glamorous. It relies entirely on consistency, strict discipline, and the raw courage to keep going when literally everything feels like it's against you. Everyone wants the success, for sure, but very few are willing to embrace the reality of the struggle required to earn it.
There's a profound truth embedded here. Every expert was once a learner. Every single successful person you see today started out as a total, absolute beginner. And even more importantly, every winner you admire was once a loser who simply refused to quit. They just outlasted their own failures. That's the secret.
Now you might feel lost, confused, or utterly exhausted right now. But that exact feeling of exhaustion, that is the threshold. It's the exact spot where most people give up. But if you can push through that specific friction, you enter the crucible where true winners are actually forged. So, based on the source material, here is your blueprint to rise. You have to keep moving when progress is agonizingly slow. You have to believe in yourself when the doubt from others is at its absolute loudest. And you have to use every failure as a stepping stone. Because one day, you're going to look back and realize that every rejection made you better, and every single moment of pain was actively shaping you into the person you were meant to become.
The text leaves us with a necessary, concrete promise we have to make to ourselves right now. I will not quit. Anchor your focus onto your goals and fully commit to the reality that determination is your only real requirement. You are vastly stronger than you think you are. As we wrap up our analysis of this material, I want to leave you with one final lingering question. Will you quit or will you rise? The choice is entirely yours. But remember this uplifting truth as you go forward today. Your story is not over yet. In fact, if you make the right choice today, your story has just begun. Keep going.